All right, looks like we're live. It is Friday, March 19th at 12:31. And I'm diving back into converting my blog from Jekyll to Eleventy. Last week we tackled a date issue with the formatting of the template I was using. Resolved that by setting the time zone UTC option. I think the week prior to that, we had sorted out an issue with the template for the posts. Now they're all showing fine. And so I think this week, well, there's two things we're going to want to tackle. I haven't actually moved most of my posts over yet. So I've still been working with the posts that came with the template that I was using. I was hoping that the CFML Prism.js syntax highlighting would be available prior to now. That was a project I had worked on earlier. It's been added to Prism, but Prism hasn't had a release since then, and even when it does, I don't think the Eleventy plugin for Prism will pick up that update immediately. So in order for me to move my posts over, I'm going to have to do a little fiddling with the Eleventy config. I haven't looked into this too far. So let's just look at what I have looked at, and I'll explain why for myself. When I move my posts over, a lot of my posts, the code blocks have CFML, CFC syntax highlighting. If I move them over now, Eleventy won't know how to parse them because Prism.js, the parser isn't there, so they'll break and I can't move the posts over. Now what I saw briefly when I was looking at the docs, and we're gonna go through this together, was that with that plugin, the syntax highlighting, there is a way to customize Prism. So within our Eleventy config, it appears that we can basically customize Prism, and I think that I should be able to work my. Well, you know what? This is what I'm going to do now. I'm doing this on the fly. I want to see if there's any other issues with my posts, so I can use this in the Eleventy config to let it not throw an error for CFC. Cold Fusion syntax highlighting, see if there's any other issues with my posts, and then once I get the posts over, if Prism and stuff haven't been updated, I think I should be able to use this hook here in the Eleventy config to basically port my CFC Prism.js syntax highlighting into my blog, even if it hasn't been officially released with Prism or the Eleventy highlight. So, enough talking. I haven't coded yet. So much for live code. Let's hop into my Eleventy.js, which I have here. We've got let's get rid of the sidebar. Takes up too much space. We've got our syntax highlighting plugin here. And now if we hop back to the docs, we'll see. Okay, we need to tweak this a little bit. Tweak the way that the plugin is added. So we're going to copy this block where the syntax highlight is added. And I think, all right, we're not gonna do any more of these customizations here. And we're not going to do anything in here. The question is, I think we have to, we have to require this, or set it as a const. Okay. So we'll grab this, we'll move this to the top, and we'll switch the way that this plugin is being loaded. We'll get rid of this line. That's the old way. Now we're doing it this way with the customizations. I do like that Eleventy really lets you customize a lot of stuff in the config here. So we're passing in the syntax highlighting, init, function, prism, languages. So I'll probably need, I don't know why it's not liking that there. Function, expression, expected. Is it because there's just an empty comment here? Probably. That's probably what it doesn't like. So I'm gonna just put in CFC. We'll see if that works. And now I need to move over my, I need to move over my posts. Oops, we don't need to hop to the terminal yet. We can, why not? We're in here, npm run dev. We'll get that up and running. And it broke because what did it do? Breaking now is better than, didn't like something in the Eleventy config. You know what? That's what happens when you copy and paste without. All right, this is not Eleventy config. It's just config. That should be it. npm run dev. And now we should be up and running. All right. And it's going to open up Safari for me. I'll move this over. Big enough. All right. So in here, we are now going to remove the... We're going to remove all of them. I don't think I need these. Oh, let's see. You know what? I have this here. Let's zoom in again. We're zoomed in. This is the actual repo up on GitHub. So if I need to reference, anything, I can do that in here. Source posts. Cool. So if I need to reference the metadata, I can do that from there. So I'm going to delete all of the posts that came with this template. Move them to the trash. And I will drag over all of my very many. How many? I don't remember. We'll find out. Post all of my posts into the folder. I'm doing this in Finder in the other window. So this dropped all of these in here. 6 years worth of posts. Let's just see. Can I see how many I've got here? 71. Nice. 71 posts. Dropped them in. Let's see what exploded. All right. So we broke it. How did we break it? Language does not exist. ZSH. Okay. Honestly, that's probably something that I should just fix in the posts themselves, because that's not really a language. So let's go. We'll search for those syntax highlighting things. And I'm going to need, because I'm just testing this out in here, I'm going to need a file. I'm going to call this notes for now. Did I make a notes file? Let's just check if I did. If I did, I didn't save it. All right, notes. We're going to have to remove ZSH syntax highlighting. And I'll just need to swap that out for something that's actually, bash or shell or whatever the prism, whatever the prism equivalent is. I'm not even sure why I used that in the old posts. Well, let's find out our answer. We're going to go to prism.js, and we'll see what we got here in terms of the languages that are supported. Shell, bash, and shell. I think that's all. I think just bash would be sufficient in these cases. Make up for my previous mistakes. All right, so you're becoming bash. Why did I don't know why I did this. Very strange. Switch all those over to bash. And then see what else is broken. All right, log. So I had another. Most of the things that are broken are syntax highlighting. Go figure. Log, have one in here. All right. What a strange thing to have for syntax highlighting, he said about himself. All right, is there anything that's log, prolog? Not it. Verilog? No. Okay. And all right. They do have a lot of languages here, though. So let's just take a quick. I don't know if I'm probably not zoomed in enough here. I'm reading these things and no one can see them. Okay. Squirrel, toml, twig, TypeScript, Vim. I mean, this isn't. I can track down something that does the syntax highlighting that I want at a different time, especially since this is only one instance of this. I'm sure. INI. It's not really an INI. It's not an ignore. HTTP. No. Rather than spend a lot of time trying to sort down the right processing for one line of code, I'm just going to switch it to text. Text is one here, right? Text. Let's just make sure we have text. So that's a text. Or is it plain text? Come on, plain text. Whoa, lots of examples. I guess, maybe it's not, huh? I guess plain text is not what they call plain text. There has to be a plain text highlighting here. Processing, is that a language? Properties. Well, okay, yeah. I'm wasting too much time on this. We will just use, it's not a URI, it's not a wiki. We will just use C-like markup. So we'll just use C-like for now. We'll generate it and then we'll just make a note because I'm not even sure what highlighting I wanted there. Let's hop over to the notes, make another note, remove log syntax highlighting. And I don't want to save that. Oops. And then what post was that in? That was in Lucy Redis session cache settings. All right. Lucy Redis session cache. I'll look that back up and see what an appropriate syntax highlighter for that would be. So down here, that may have been all that we needed. HTML to absolute URLs, nunjucks async filter took a lot of time, so we can track that down. But I don't think anything is going to be showing properly because I think there's a bit more that we have to do in here. All right, what else is broken? What else is broken if nothing else is showing? Is that we took care of log. It says it wrote the files, but the other okay, so let's, just because we've changed this, we're going to rerun npm run dev to clear out those old files and put the new ones in. Now, I don't think, because of the config, that they're going to show properly on the home page yet, and I'll have to dive into the config to get those to work. Yes, cannot get. It can't get it, probably because nothing was actually output. All right, back to our. It's nice to know that all I need to do is this update is easy. This update is easy. So I might need to get into doing my little hacky thing to account for CFCs, but the rest of my posts at least didn't cause any errors in moving them from one to the other. And I'm one thing I do need to check. I don't know if Eleventy, some of my old posts have a .markdown extension instead of .md. So I'm not sure if they got, let's check if they got moved. The first one is testing out tiny press markdown on track. So let's go to dist. Are they going to be in post? Yes. No, it looks like, okay, so I'm going to need to tell, there's a handful of things I need to do here, but I'm going to need to tell Eleventy to, I think we're going to need to tell Eleventy to account for, because that's not all the posts, to account for .markdown files, and I believe that's also something that's done in the Eleventy.js file. All right, one thing at a time. This is all going to be, I think this is all going to be Eleventy.js configuration at this point. So we will go to the docs, the Eleventy docs, and let's get the posts to show first. So actually, that wouldn't be the Eleventy docs. That would be, first of all, determining how, am I zoomed in enough here? Probably. I don't think I can zoom in much more. I won't be able to read it on my own screen. My collection is posts without drafts, and it's done by globbing this directory, and then it's checking if the post, okay, so now get filtered by glob, config add collection. It should be everything in there. I'm not sure. I'm assuming. I remember going through this template before, and what I need to do is so we'll just grab one of these markdown posts. I think what I needed to do here was to add a post tag. Let's close that. Let's hop back to Safari, and we've got a this is a post that I was working on today, and I haven't actually published on my blog, so sneak preview. So we got an invalid date here. Why do we have an invalid date? We have an invalid date because I don't have any dates on the post, so that's a separate problem. Why? What in here is post to default collection type? Let's no, I'm not going to solve that right now. I'm just going to make this work, and then I'll go back and solve it. So I know that I need to add post to the metadata of my blog posts, and I believe, there's a lot of believing going on here, that in the front matter, within my Eleventy.js, I can set some defaults. Collections I'm going to have to go into. Debugging, where's the front matter? Permalinks, I'll have to work on that. Front matter data. All right. Template configuration, sources of data. don't need to do that. I thought I could do this. Advanced customization, cascade, config global data. That sounds right. Yep. Okay. In here, add global data. Sources of data. Let's just read. Let's actually read instead of scrolling through. Oh, that's adding it. So that's no. I want something more specifically on front matter. Okay, front matter data. You add it this way. It's YAML. Layouts, template configuration. You can set these options. Read more about template configuration. Permalink, layout, pagination, tags. Okay, here we go. This is, oh, right, all right. Oh, and date, interesting. Okay, I have a bunch to learn right now. So it looks like here, I believe that I can customize. Okay, this is the data cascade, and I can set them. All right, taking a step backwards. Okay, I'm going to say what I'm trying to do. I want there's a handful of things in this migration that I need to set up to migrate my data from Jekyll to Eleventy. I need to customize the links so that they match. I need to modify the tags of these posts because I don't have that post tag in place for any of them, and I'm not going to manually go put it in there. And then I need to customize the dates because the dates I was using in Jekyll came from the file names. And so there's no date in the front matter of my posts. So these three things, permalink, tags, and date, at a minimum, I need to set dynamically for all of my posts. And what I'm going to do is find out how I can add a file, a config file in the directory. Template, directory, data files. I think that's what I need. Let me just check one thing here to make sure. Yeah, that looks like it's working correctly. Okay. All right, a template data file. Content, okay. So I think I'm looking at this structure here. In posts, I can make a posts.eleventydata.js file. And what I set in here will be applied to all of my posts. So let's just give this a shot, and then we'll get it to work. In my posts. Why does that look like no? That's all the files. Yeah. All right. New file. Not gonna keep that posts prefix. Posts.eleventydata.js, and in this, okay, what's the structure of it when it's an actual JavaScript file? This is my let's just try. Well, actually, rather than making it just a JS file, I'm going to make it a JSON file to begin with because I don't have anything off the bat that needs to be dynamic within this file. If I do, then I'll switch it to be a JavaScript file and I'll make that all work next. But first, let's just try to use this file to, we're not going to do the layout, we're going to do, I might I might need it to be dynamic right off the bat. Well, let's just do it this way. Tags, and we're gonna put post. Everything in here is a post. And these were written. And if I hop over here, nice. Ooh, so what's very cool here is let me just, by adding that there, the post tag was added to all the posts, but the tags that already existed on them weren't overwritten or lost. So I still have all these tags on the individual posts, but they're showing up the way that they're supposed to be. So the next thing that I need to customize in here is I need to customize the dates. Let's get those dates to work. Okay. This might need to be, I might need to switch it to be JavaScript soon to account for that. But let's look at how we can do dates in here. I'm very glad I've got, actually, now we know. Doing too many things at once. Let's check, because I think we can get all of those. Let's go to the last page. TIL call stack get. Okay, so this is, these are in here alphabetically. Actually, so I'm going to get the dates in first, and then I'll track down why that other post isn't showing. So date, let's figure out the dates. Cascade date. Read more at content dates. You can add it in the front matter. If a date is omitted from the file, the date is assumed to be. Oh, yeah, that is how they're named. Oh, right? That's how the files are named? Let's just, I might need to configure this. So my files are named. They do begin with the date. So if a date key is omitted from the file, the date is assumed to be. If the file name has that format anywhere, this date is used. You probably want page.date instead. Okay. Time out here. Dates off by 1, common pitfall. This is the issue that I ran into last time. UTC and time zones. You know what? If I had thoroughly read the documentation, that wouldn't have been an issue. Nice. Well, I'm glad that that's documented, but it's not what I'm dealing with now. All right. So why? Let's just check in here and see how. All right. So we don't need that. We're getting an invalid date, so we're going to need to look at how the dates are set. The dates are coming through our date display.js. That's being done in our, what do we have here? Includes layouts post. This is where everything's being rendered. And we're getting that the date passed in is not valid. So let's hop into our filters. We have our date display filter. And it doesn't like what's coming. This is what I was messing around. I hope there's not another bug here. Console.log date. Let's just see what we end up with there. Date is not defined. What? Date is not defined. Let's just check. I'm gonna rerun npm run dev just to see. Okay, so we've got a bug here, and it is that date is not defined. Well, obviously, date not being defined is going to cause a problem. So I wonder if the problem is that in our layout, we are passing in date, and we might want to be passing in page.date. Let's just see if this makes a difference. Page.date, page.date. I don't know if this is what we're looking for, but we'll find out. No. Same. Oh. Eleventy config error was thrown. Date is not defined. And that's in date display. So whatever's coming in here, interesting. All right. So first of all, we're going to roll back those changes. I'm going to roll back these changes because that was working fine previously. So I don't think it's that. The issue is that whatever's getting passed in here isn't a date, which to me says that it's not parsing the file names correctly, which is probably not the case. It's probably something that I can do. Values available in the page. Dates off by 1, so it's nothing in that. Collections out of order when you run Eleventy on your server. Be careful relying on the default date associated with a piece of content. By default, Eleventy uses file creation dates. Work around this by using explicit date assignments either in your front matter or your content's file name. Yeah, content dates. So what's strange here for me is that if a date key is omitted from the file, the date is assumed to be, if the file name has a this in it, that date is used, file creation date. Check out the values available in the page variable. Page date. So it does seem like page.date should work. The date associated with the page defaults to the contents file created date but can be overridden. File slug. These are we're still looking at properties of the page variable. So why? We're gonna hop back into our host. Oh, you know what this might be? Because date display is used in more than one place. So I'm actually gonna roll this. I'm gonna roll this forward. Page.date, page.date. These are all page.date. But I think date display is probably used on what, home? Or just page? F date. No, not there. Posts. Date. Date. Post.data.date. Post.data.date. Well, let's just comment this out. See if we can get this to run fine, and then we'll figure out how to get the right info in. Still broken. Still an issue with date. Still coming from date display. So that's not helpful. Post privacy notice tags, top notice, footer, header. All right, where else is date display used? Date display is the filter that we've added. It is in posts, and it's not getting passed in there. And then I've updated it everywhere here. Page.date, 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 page.date. Date display, date display, date display. It's only 3. And this one, I don't think is actually being used. So that doesn't, page.date doesn't seem to resolve it. Date is not defined. Okay. All right. We'll roll all of these back again. Those are switched back. That's uncommented. It seems like I'm just not entirely grasping how. I mean, the Eleventy docs seem to say that with this file name, that should be used for the date. But I'm not seeing that actually be the case. Well, obviously it's using something here. So let's just let's find out what it's using. We will go into, well, we'll just go into date display. We'll go into date display and we will just have it do nothing. We'll just have it where was this? That's that. That's, what do we got going on here? You're gone. You were just extra. That's the end of the date string. We'll just have it returned blank so that nothing breaks. That won't break, and then we can dig in a little bit further and figure out what value Eleventy is picking up for those dates. So that's running, that's there. There's no errors with the date. Let's hop in. Let's hop in here. To the post. And if we want to, what is it? Is it just the syntax date? Just see what happens with that. Did that just break that page? Copying 4 files. I thought that was the first one that was showing, but I could be wrong here. Let's go to, oh, it's because I'm on the last page. First page, last page, first page. Postgres. So we got nothing output there when I put date. And if I do total title, let's just make sure that these are being picked up. Yeah, the title is being shown here. So, and date's giving me nothing. And we got like post.date. Post.date has given me nothing. All right. And page.date. Work our way through the options here. Oh, there we go. Page.date is giving me something there. Interesting. All right. And it's saying March 18th. Okay, so it's doing the right one. That's the, I'm on the East Coast, and the file name for that is for March 18th. Okay, so page.date here is giving me the right value. Now, I don't know if page.date, okay, so we're good here. We're going to go over to not date display. Let's go to the actual post layout. And at this point, we will just have it output created on date. We will just do, get rid of this. No, we'll just do page.date in here just to see if this template also has access to that. So it should say created on, and it's not. Why is it not? Else page.date. Let's just put this here in an H1. Way we're not gonna miss it. H1 date : page.date and H1. I mean that should that should show. Okay, strange. All right. Showing fine. So why didn't it show? Oh, this okay, because that whole block is predicated on if date. So this is going to be if page.date, which should be there. Now we'll swap in page.date here. Working our way through this one error at a time. There we go, created on, working fine. All right, and then we will switch this back, and this will be created on page.date, passing that into date display, and it's showing nothing. Oh, because page.date, we have to hop back into that date display filter. Oh, well, right. Let's roll you back. No, we don't need you. No dates show because you blanked out the date display filter. That makes sense. So it may have been working before. No, but now it's not working. Why is it not working? Is everything? There we go. Postgres created on March 18th, 2021. Okay, nice. All right, so in here, let's. Date display itself is fine. In post, if page.date, we are going to do so the one of them, I just might need to try to think of the best way to do this. So page.date is a date object. The date that we were working with before was a string. So there were things that we could do, like comparing the strings to see if they were the same or not. That it's just different when it is a date object. So how am I going to do this? The question is whether I want to add the dates to my posts, and for what it's worth, I feel like they want you to add those into the files. I'm just not sure why. It feels like, and I can't track this down too much. Maybe I can. It feels like these should be sorted. Oh, maybe these aren't being sorted. Okay, these are being sorted correctly. So the date that they're getting is right. I just can't. It's like that date that they're getting isn't available to me, that's strange. I guess the default date isn't available. It's just used for sorting, And if I set it there, I'm overriding it, but it's not necessarily available in my templates. That's probably what's going on here. I can check this out a little bit more, but it might be worth me adding those dates to the YAML, and I'll have to figure out a way to do that. All right. Let's just take a look at what we have going on in here. Let's go back to the post. All right. So I customized the Eleventy config file so that I could use the CFC syntax highlighting, even though it's not available. At least it wouldn't throw an error. I tracked down 2 other syntax highlighting errors that were causing problems. Oh, you know what? There's one last thing I can do before this wraps up. Let's do this, and then we can wrap it. I do want to get Eleventy to pass through or to handle the markdown files, the files with the wrong file extension. Eleventy searches for the template format configuration, template format, the default HTML liquid EJS MD. All right, so template formats, and this goes in the. This is in my Eleventy.js. Let's just see if I can do this. If I do this, then I'll wrap it and I will call it a successful. Does that go in the, where does that go? Add pass-through copy, Slugify, browser sync, data merge. Is it config dot? There we go. All right. Do this right at the top. And ours will be, we have some nunjucks. I don't think we have anything that's HTML. So let's just do MD and Markdown. And same error. I never learn. Changed. If it picks that up, it should generate all of the files. And I'm not sure. Let's just rerun npm run dev. And we'll see if we get everything back to my first post generated. All right, we will go to the 1 of 8. Last page. No, interesting. Doesn't seem. I think that was the file extension there. Let's just posts. Oh, I wonder if it's the. It may not even have been Eleventy. I wonder if it was the globbing pattern in Eleventy.js in my collection builder. Yes, it is. Okay, so star dot md or dot markdown. That's probably what I needed. First page. Copied 30 files. See if it worked that time. All right. Waiting. Still 1 of 8, so I'm thinking that it didn't. I didn't break it. But they are dot. This file is dot markdown. Yeah. And up here I added Markdown as a template format. Source posts star. I'm not sure. Well, what if I just do that? See, let's find out if this is the actual issue. We'll see if it just picks up the markdown files. If it just picks up the markdown files, then good. If it picks up nothing, then I know that that's strange. So it's not the. Let's find out what's going on here. Okay, so the collection posts without drafts. Where is that collection being used? In the feed, the JSON, and in. Okay, so that's not where the actual posts are being output from. Although maybe they are next post, previous post. That's from the collections. JSON, the feed. This JSON, okay, is another feed, so it's not there. All right, so this, we're going to leave that like that so that both types, I just might need to update my file names here too. I'm just trying to be clever so that I don't have to. So then template formats, MD, Markdown, and nunjucks. It seems like maybe that's the problem. File extension should be considered case insensitive and cross-platform. Enable quiet mode to reduce noise. Set template formats. HTML liquid nunchucks. The default HTML liquid EJS MD HBS mustache. Specify what types of templates should be transformed. I would have thought. Oh, I wonder if it has to do with the Markdown engine not liking them. Data, lower data directory, layouts. Interesting. Okay. Template languages, Markdown. Markdown files are pre-processed by Liquid. Default options. All right. Well, I thought that was going to be a quick change, but apparently it's not. Okay. Oh, interesting. So maybe I just need to tell. Maybe let me just try this and see if I need to tell it what is going to process Markdown. Could not. Yeah, that's fine. Set library, Markdown it. Let's just see if that. No, that bro. Oh my goodness. Every single time. I think I should probably change that. File changed. Is it picking up the change? I'm not sure. Feels like it's hanging, so I'm just going to rerun npm run dev. What I'll probably end up doing, just for the sake of future-proofing this and consistency is renaming my files. Because it doesn't seem like they should be named .markdown. I don't know why they are, honestly. So if I rename them, that solves that problem. I should, I think, be able to get them to be processed by Eleventy. So I might poke at that a little bit longer. Not today. So let's just recap for my own sake. I have the two posts, two types of syntax highlighting that I need to fix. I'm going to need to rename my files, and then it depends. I need to figure out how I want to handle the date parsing, whether I want to add those dates to the files or work a little bit more on understanding how Eleventy extracts that date, and then if it is actually available within the posts. It might be a matter of taking this post's Eleventy data and maybe turning it into a JavaScript file, making it dynamic, and maybe it has access to Eleventy's date and can set that date for the posts for me. I might take a look into that. But all in all, I'd say it's productive. I mean, my posts have been moved over with minimal fuss. I still have the syntax highlighting issue to deal with. But all in all, I'd say it's been a successful live coding session, and I'm 1 hour closer to having my blog migrated. So thanks for hanging around, and have a great weekend. I will see you next week.